let's get this. All right, so new camera's up. Hopefully this shit doesn't freeze. I'm gonna pray it doesn't freeze, otherwise I'm gonna have to restart the stream. But okay, let's hit this record. So I have Mr. Quotes in my Discord, and we're gonna be talking about whether we think Lance is top four. He thinks he's arguing for that he's not top four. I am arguing that he is top four. And so let's just get straight into it. So explain to me, why do you think this character is not top four?
I mean, not even to like go through like what's good and bad. I just think there's 4 better characters than him.
All right, who are your 4 better characters?
All right. This is arguing now because more patches can't come through. I would say that Zed is better than him. I would say that Vasaraga is better than him. I would say that Percival is better than him. And I would still say that Blau is better than him. So that's 4 right there. And I think that's pretty safe, like, picks of being like the top 4. And I'm sure I might be missing, like, there's like new characters that have entered discussion, like Seox and Beelzebub, that some people might put him above Lancelot now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will tell you right now, I definitely agree that Percival was better than Lance.
Yeah.
Zeta and Vasaraga, I hard disagree.
Hard disagree?
I hard disagree.
Really? Okay.
So when I'm saying these characters are like top 4, I think that it's more like I'm considering matchup charts, right?
Yeah.
So when I think Percival, as a Percival player, I could say, and I've had this discussion with Wavy before, that we both agree that Percival, if not, he probably wins or goes even with all his matchups and possibly loses to one, right?
Yeah.
The character that he loses to would be Vasaraga. And if anything, it's not like harsh disadvantage, it'd be like slight disadvantage, so like 4.5, 5.5, right?
Okay.
Now, whenever I argue Lance, my main thing is that I feel like Lance loses to no one.
Okay.
So like he has no losing matchups. It's either even or he wins, right?
Okay.
Gandito made a matchup chart with Zeta. I forget like how long ago, right? And Zeta was losing like, actually, let me see if I can pull it up right now.
I saw that chart. It was like only 3 characters.
I feel like it was more than 3. I definitely remember Lance, Percival, and Lance, Percival, and Vasaraga were definitely on those charts. But he definitely feels that like, oh, okay, so I have it. So he thinks as of now, and this was as of August 2nd, Zeta loses to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 characters.
Okay.
2 of those characters are 4, 6. The rest are 4.5, 5.5, right? I'm like, there's no way you could say that character's better than Lance, who I argue can only put. I don't know who, like, if you like try to like, if we can have like an hour-long discussion about this, but I seriously cannot tell you who Lance loses to. Like, the only character, actually, I actually don't know who the character loses to. Like, and people will argue like, oh, but if you feel that Lance doesn't lose to anyone, why pick Percival? It's really not a matter of like who Lance's fights. It's more so how I feel comfortable fighting the matchup. When Fame was playing, and I this would probably be like a huge point to not refer to, but I still, as one of the better Vasaragas, I still feel like I should refer to this point. Vasaraga definitely lost to Lancelot.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
you think the Vasaraga still loses to Lancelot now?
Yeah, nothing has changed between the Vasaraga Lance matchup.
Okay.
So like nothing has changed between those 2. It's bully or be bullied, but the problem is that Vasaraga has no 5-frame normal, and a lot of the things that Vasaraga wants to do can just be like, it's hard to say because like at worst you could say the matchup is even, but otherwise you have to say Lance wins the matchup. Mobility, getting in, bully versus being bullied, better frame data, the fact that I have a reversal, the fact that M turbulence kind of fucks with stance because stance no longer autocorrects. Like, all these things are a factor, and I'm just like, okay, I understand. Oh, and the fact that Vasaraga, like, if we both have SSBA, and I know this is exceedingly situational, if we both have SSBA, Vasaraga can no longer SSBA my jump-ins, like, at all.
Oh, you can cancel the super, right?
Yeah, I can cancel on SSBA and fuck him over.
Okay.
So it's just like, okay, Percival, Percival Lance. So Percival Lance is weird because I think it's even. Wavy thinks it's in Lance's favor, but it's just like, okay, this is probably the only character that I can argue being better than Lance. And that's because, and I'm only arguing that because I think that in the long run, Percival wins more matchups than Lancelot does. Because by default, Percival just fucked up every other Shoto that's not Catalina.
All right.
And in but in the same regards, Lance goes even with every Shoto. So that's already 3 matchups he wins. And then you got Charlotta. Then you got like.
How do you feel about the newer characters that are starting to be discussed for top tier, like Beelzebub and Seox?
So like, personally, I don't feel like I'm educated enough to make a formal decision on 6. But if someone told me that 6 is top 5, I can look at his toolkit enough and say, "Oh, this character's kind of bullshit." So I wouldn't disagree that 6 is top 5. Now, personally, my top 4 is Beelzebub, Belial, Lance, and Percival. Right now, if you want to like sprinkle 6 in there, I would have no disagreements with that. Like I would have none whatsoever. But because I don't know him enough, I'm gonna stick to the 4 that I know and say those are my top 4. But at the same time, when I argue that these are my top 4, my main argument is that in these top 4, they only lose to someone else in the top 4. Right? So like Belial, I only think Belial, like the only character that I feel possibly beats Belial is Percival. Like
yeah.
Like I made a whole video about this. I feel Percival is actually a really good counter pick to Belial. Lance versus Bubs is one of those weird matchups because I don't want to call it even and I don't want to call it slight advantage for Lance. Like if I've had this discussion with Kaina, like I think the matchup is like 5.25 to 4.75. Is like I don't know how to word it. Like Lance's mobility gives him advantages that the rest of the cast doesn't have. Like the fact that I can just clearly jump over your fireball and I can just play footsies with you. If you try to like Beyblade, I could just 2 you, or I could just 6-6A. But at the same time, it's really, really finicky because he has options to turbulence, and I'm just like, okay, cool. It's like it's one of those push and pull type things that's really hard to describe unless you like fully innate to the matchup. Percival, I don't know who the fuck this character. Oh, like I said, Vasarag is probably the only one, but outside of that, I think Percival pretty much fights the cast like the entire game pretty fucking well. Percival Bubs, I think is. I want to say Percival Bubs is maybe slight Percival, but if you want to argue even, it's fine. Like I could see that as well. But like people who are telling me Lance is not top 4, and I'm just like, who does he lose to? And they're just like, but look at the rest of the cast. I'm like, but I'm pretty sure Lance fights the rest of the cast either well or wins against the rest of the cast. Okay. Like,
what I would so like when you speak of it on like in the matchup aspects, like I understand. The thing when I don't make really I don't do the tier list thing very much, especially in a game like this when all the characters are pretty balanced. Mm-hmm. When you say like, oh, Lancelot doesn't lose to any or doesn't have any hard losing matchups or they're very few, there's not a lot of hard losing matchups in this game to begin with. So like I don't factor that in as much as I would another game, like say like an older game like Third Strike where matches are like pretty defined. I just think about like what is the game's meta and what is strong. What can characters do in this game's engine and what their potential is, and can you stop them from doing it? So I do think Lancelot is good. I think that he's been nerfed like 3 or 4 times, and because of that, like he can't recycle cooldowns as much anymore. His reversal, which got pretty severely nerfed between season 1 and 2, got worse because you can't auto press it during block strings. His like mix up is like it's not even a mix up, it's pressure. It's decent, but like there are points of challenging it and there's points of risk. Even when you get the EX fireball, it's a guess on your part still because you can high low block it pretty reliably, or you can just do nothing and you're forced to slide just to catch a roll. So like I don't see him like oppressing And that's why I think like the strength of the game is like is how well can you oppress. Or I think like the strongest characters like Vasaraga oppresses the fuck out of you. Percival can oppress you from full screen or mid screen. Seox can recycle pressure for free because you can't really stop it without like either doing hard read OSs or stuff like that. And Beelzebub just flies around the screen. He's not playing the same game as you. And Zeta is sort of the same, but her corner game is even scarier, and she has a reversal that can do half-life and then push you back in the same mix-up. And when I compare that stuff to what Lancelot can do, like, it's good and it's strong, it's more linear, and I don't have that much fear of being put in bad spots as it would other characters. That's my idea of, like, character strength in this game, where matchups are, they're there, but they're not many 6-4s, honestly. And there's maybe 1 or 2 7-3s. So that's where I come when I think about the game strength.
Okay, so when you think top 4, you're just thinking like how well can the other person like maul you in a sense.
Yeah, because I think that's really like defense in this game is so like different than other fighting games because one, DPs kind of blow. So if you have a true reversal, that's so super valuable. Mashing is an actual like strong defensive option. You have to go out of your way to do it. Like you just, if you could just keep people like pinned down like that, and like you can't like get out of it if you don't have any sort of like defensive options, then I don't know how you thrive. Well, you can thrive, but it's so much harder to in this game, should I say?
That makes sense. Hold on 1 second. So I do agree that like the game is leaning toward like a pressing session, but I think that the problem is that that people are how to put this. I think like what people are like not acknowledging about Lance is that because his records can like be spaced out, they can essentially this is something that like most NA Lances, myself included, don't do. It's the fact that we could just back up and completely whiff punish you with Rekka for trying to fuzzy match on Rekka. And then you mentioned like EX Fireball earlier. I don't think people understand like how stupid as a tool like EX Fireball can potentially be. And let's just like how to put this put things in like a vacuum. Let's just say you're in the corner and I just throw EX Fireball on your wake up, right? Yeah. So at this point, this is like the mind game, right? And even then, the mind game is like I don't think people understand that if I throw EX Fireball on your wake up in the corner, that this whatever interaction we're about to do more than likely favors me. But you know, we're playing online. There's lag, so things don't look this way because I've done this setup to like several people, and they've mashed out on it. And I'm just like, you're not supposed to be able to mash there. Or people were like, why would I do that if it looks like it's negative? I'm like, no, it's not. I just fucked up the setup. All right. So if I throw EX Fireball on the corner, if I throw EX Fireball in the corner, right? You have 2 options. You can either roll it or you can just take it, right? If I so the real like mix up here is whether I'm gonna turbulence or not, right? Because if I turbulence and you roll, I just wasted a cooldown and you got out the corner for free, right? But if you don't roll, now you have to guess between how is this JH gonna hit you? How is this like, where's this mix gonna be, right? Am I gonna JH? Am I gonna go low? Because 2L also beats you there, as long as I don't like whiff an air normal. So it's like, okay, that's like one layer of the mix up, right? But if I just 2U, right? Now it's like, okay, now this game kind of changes a bit because if you roll, I get a beefy combo. My 6-6C gets back. My 6-6C comes back. Now you're in a hard knockdown situation again, which we have to guess for game. Or if you just decide, you know what, I'm gonna just sit there and block, right? Now I'm +1 in your face, right? +1 versus Lancelot, who has a 6-frame 5M, 6-frame close 5M, which will crush whatever you're gonna do. And now you're just thinking there, what am I gonna press in front of his face? Shit. It's just like, okay, like, it's not a situation that comes up frequently, but it's a situation that should be like noted because how like kind of fucked up the situation is as the opposing player. And I'm just like, okay, this is a situation that I would gladly take because I'm +1. Why would I take the +1 and be in front of your face? If I press 5H, that's 7 frames and you're getting fucked even worse. Like people are like, thinking like, oh, these characters are really good and Lance isn't that good at depressing. But if Lance gets you in the corner, it doesn't matter who Lance is facing. I can potentially win the game off of your bad guesses. Like, I understand like people like may think like defensively he's not defensively, like offensively he's weak mid screen. But if Lance gets you in the corner, there's really no difference between me fighting a Jita, me fighting a Fairy, me fighting a Soriz, me fighting an Amaya. Everyone is the same. Like in the corner, I possibly have a win condition just because I'm Lance. All it depends on is how well can you block.
So, do you think that the blocking gets easier offline, or do you think that it doesn't matter between the high-low and the slide stuff?
So I played. So like this is funny because I played Summer Jam just happened, and I think as far as I remember in top 8, I never actually went for the high low. I just always went for the 2U. I just wanted the plus frames, and people would just like roll or dodge, and I'm just like, okay, cool. Now I'm gonna reset this entire situation, take back 40%, use 6-6C, put your 2U, and I was like, okay, now you have to guess for game again. Like, okay, sure. This is like, hold on, I think I have I weirdly made a video about this
yeah, it's hard to say because like if people aren't gonna actually put it to the test offline, they're just gonna mash or not block, then I can't like argue that if they're that like scared of it. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot.
And the thing is go for it.
Yeah, so to be fair, I don't play the game much anymore, as even less so Lancelot, so I haven't experienced the cooldown nerfs. All I hear is how much that matters. The cooldown nerf mattered, and how much harder stuff like that got for him to recycle pressure, and also people have started moving away from Lancelot and switching to Seox. So, like when I factor in character strength, so I say this all the time when I talk about tiers or matchups. My personal experience consists of me at most 30% of my factoring. I try to think about the theory and I try to watch as much as I can and just apply me playing with that, because I think me playing the matchup is too much confirmation bias. If I'm getting my ass beat by Percival, then it's like, oh, it is a bad matchup, but maybe someone has like an answer that I'm not aware of, or they just see the matchup from a different perspective. So the fact that there's so little footage of this game out right now, I can't experience, witness, or see how how Lancelot has evolved from the nerfs. I just know that the nerfs were pretty significant. Even you said they're pretty significant, and how good Seox is, and how well he fits this game state where he has a borderline unpunishable reversal and really good offense. So there's that too.
Whenever you hear me cry about Lance nerfs, it's not so much like the character. It's like they nerfed one thing about the character that I didn't necessarily agree with, right? And that was the 6-6X cooldown, right? And that wasn't so much because of like just recycling cooldowns. It was more so what ended up happening is it lowered his reward for anti-airing people. So beforehand, season 1, I used to get like 2H with a like on counter hit, 2H with a Rekka, 5H 6-6A. I mean 5H 6-6L, 5H 6-6H into whatever, right?
Yeah.
So they nerfed that. That was like the result of what like that got clipped as a result of the cooldown nerf, which I didn't necessarily agree with because I'm just like, why would you nerf my like? In the patch notes, they said that they nerfed it so that you couldn't use it twice in one combo. Meanwhile, the only way you got a twice in one combo was if your opponent was an idiot and jumped in at you. Yeah. So it's just like, you're nerfing my reward for my opponent's bad play for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that was my main thing about the cooldown, like the Blade Impulse nerf. Other than that, I still think Lance is pretty fine. So we hit record again. And wait, hold on, let me see. Y'all really think Lance is this bad? That's crazy.
I didn't go that far. Then again, I guess I get people to come after me for my opinions. So
hold on.
I am part of the fairy down player squad.
Like, y'all think Lance is this bad?
I don't think he's that bad. I don't put him 2 spots above Soares.
Y'all have him under yo. All right, so watch this, right? Oh, let me see something.
I forgot about Zoe. I think Zoe's really strong.
All right, watch this, right?
Yeah.
Y'all can see my mouse cursor.
I'm on a delay, so everything you say and I watch will be slightly
delayed. Oh, let me turn on Discord.
Oh, the share screen.
Yeah.
I like this.
No. All right. So I'm not speaking for CAG, right? Yeah, I read the tweet.
Look at Narmaya. How depressing is that, bro?
All right. So peep this, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking strictly about Lance and how the character like in relation. So I'm gonna just be saying win, lose, even, right? Even. Wins. Possibly wins. Even. Wins. Don't know. Even. Or if you ask Marvin, they'll probably argue that Lance wins it. Don't know. Even. Wins. Even. Wins. Even. Wins. I want to say slightly wins.
I can see that.
Wins. Slightly wins. Honestly, between I think Eustace and I want to say Matera is definitively his best matchup, but if I had to like here's the thing about that, right? No Lance is playing that matchup correctly. Like everyone thinks that Lance is trying to play. So the thing about like Ladiva Lance is that if you ask a Ladiva how the Lance is going to play the matchup, they're going to swear that the Lance is going to be in the same range that the Ladiva wants to be in. And I'm just like, why would I ever be at range 0 with a grappler when I have a fireball and the mobility?
You just be above his head or her head whenever you want, pretty much.
I'm going to be a fucking fly and run away. Like, that's literally it. I just got to be a fly. I just got to move. I'm just going to be out of your range. I'm going to just chuck fireballs, poke you when necessary. Like, there's no reason for me to ever be inside, like, at range 0 where you can come and grab me when we're playing this matchup. Like, ever. Like, I
guess maybe it's scary because they try to do the record pressure and then, 2U exists and then it's terror.
Like, the only people, and the weird thing is that Ladiva players think they win the Lance matchup, but everyone else could see that Lance wins this matchup. It's actually very funny. I'm just like, if I have a fireball and a reversal and you have to approach me, why would I ever approach you? I'm making you...
You play Percival in this matchup all the time.
and even when I didn't play Percival, I was playing the reason I play Percival in this matchup is because I'm playing Lance the way I would have played Percival in this fucking matchup. Like, I'm just gonna chuck fireballs, you're gonna come to me, and you're gonna try to jump at me for throwing a fireball. I'm gonna hit you, I'm gonna put you like on the other side of the screen, and then I'm gonna run away again. And we're gonna reset this till you get back to me. Like, the way I play Percival in this matchup is the exact same way I would play Lance in this matchup. I don't see how Ladivas think they win this matchup. And I have better frame advantage than you. Like, the only 2 matchups I am unsure about for Lance is Fix and Cagliostro.
Yeah, sure. Vale was like, for the longest time, saying that Cagliostro kind of fucks Lance pretty hard.
And I have yet to see how.
I don't know. You have to ask him. I think he says he can react to the Blade Impulse, but I don't know about that. The teleporting stuff might be annoying, honestly, because if you try to do your stuff, she can kind of escape it if it's not tight. And then her general offense is really tricky.
And like, the weird thing is like, I'm not in a position where I can provide counter arguments, but I'm also not like gonna just like wholeheartedly take your word, because we both have to like have character specific interactions. So if I don't know how to deal with a specific situation, I can't tell you if the situation is real or false. I mean, true or false. So it's just like, it's weird because I'm like, any other character, I'm like, okay, if they say this, I can say this, and this is how the reaction will go. But if it's Cag, I can't say anything because it's just like I don't fight Cag. And then Bale doesn't even play Cag.
Bale kind of just plays whoever.
Yeah, Bale just plays. Bale's becoming diet for just saying fuck it. I just want to play random select at this point.
Oh, the Uno matchup is it like really bad?
Or wait, which one?
The Uno matchup.
All right, so you know what? So Lance versus Uno is kind of like Lance versus, where is it? I want to say like Matera, but except the fact that like Uno actually has defensive options and I can't 6-6-C.
Mm-hmm.
And hold on, I have the notes here. Where are my notes? Oh, and also you have to keep in mind that like offline, you can react to his fireball with SSBA.
Oh, it's really fast. Are you sure?
Yes. Like okay. I've tested it. Like it not technical input, but like easy input. Like that's
it's wait, isn't that shit like 12, 13 frames? Let me see.
Like the crazy thing is I have it literally right here. Oh wait, no. That's SSBA. Where is it?
Andre in this thing, isn't it? Can't find this. I can't even find him in the character select screen. It doesn't exist. All right.
But you can as long as he's in 75, as long as he's within 75% of the screen, you can react to any fireball with SSBA.
Oh, it's pretty slow. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I see it. Yeah, I absolutely see it.
But you're not doing that shit online. I've tried it.
No, fuck no. I can't even fucking walk block that shit online.
I tried it once and I was just like, yeah, I'm never doing this shit again. But hold up. But it really just boils down to the fact that like Uno doesn't have a 5-frame, and his 5-frame is that is his parry.
Parry.
And then on top of that, like Percival's counter hit damage is actually pretty good. Like if he whips counter, it boils down to the fact that his
right?
Yeah, like his counter hit damage is pretty good, even if I don't use a cooldown, because of the fact that 5M into like counter hit 5M links into 5H, and 5H counter hit links into 236H, and there's a huge gap between the counter and the actual hit itself. So it's pretty freaking lenient. So like if he does the counter and I punish it, it's 5H, EX Fireball, Turbulence, Jump H, 5H into full auto combo into Rekka, and now we're like now we just covered half screen. And you have no defensive option again.
He seems like one of the characters that can escape the corner stuff with his reversal. Though I can't speak. I don't know what you would have to call him out on it though, because his guard point just pushes him out of the corner. Unless you just sit there and wait. That's the problem with this game, is that we don't see enough matchups at high level. We don't even see enough Uno players.
I mean, there's two. There's Senpai Spider, and then there's
Wins.
Oh, what the hell is happening?
We started a conversation about Lance because he said top 4, and I was like, I don't see it like that. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and this is the Summer Jam winner Zombu tier list, and I'm just like,
and he's got Lance in the fucking middest of tiers.
And I'm just like, I can't see Lance, and I can't see, like, if I was to make a tier maker right now, y'all probably would.
I see his list, and like, I don't have Lance that low, but I can see everybody on that second row higher than him. Arguably, not definitively, but arguably. All right, I can see Zoe better than him. I can see Fairy better than him. Not Fairy.
All right, so the real question is, do I just make a tier list, or do I just make like a matchup chart for Lance?
My personal opinion is that matchups aren't as important in this game since most of them are pretty close. That's my feeling.
I agree with everything except Lance. Thank you, Reminiscent. Well, actually, if you say Lance is lower, I'm going to like be very mad. But Yeah. So I remember it's like someone said that like I'm not gonna say any names, but they were trying to argue.
Names.
They were trying to argue that like why would I play Lancelot if first no, yeah. Why do I, if Lance is top four? Why do I like constantly counterpick with Percival? And there's a very good reason for all of that. I can actually explain that in like 5 minutes.
I can see it too. Percival's a safer pick, honestly, in a lot of matchups. It's a lot less committal, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's literally just comfort. Like I learned Lance first, and these are the matchups that I feel comfortable with Lance. Jesus, if I have to make, I think I have a tier.
Favors you better because you defensively react a lot better than most people, and he thrives off of defensive reactions. So
1 second, I actually made a tier list, not a tier list, a matchup chart. Yeah. Hold on. Oh, wait, this is not it. Because okay, so this is mine. Open link. So this is my matchup chart versus this is just my personal matchup chart, right? If anything, the only ones that I'd probably have to like after fighting Zom, I'd probably have to move Kag, but everything else I would feel is pretty solid. Yeah, everything else I probably feel is pretty solid. And the way I try to structure it is like the closer you are, well, with the exception of even, the closer you are to the right is the more I'm willing to like acknowledge that you can be knocked a tier down. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So like further than right, it's probably a little better, a little worse.
Yeah, so like I would definitely feel more comfortable moving Kag down than I would say Ladiva or Lorraine. Yeah. Same way I would be more comfortable moving like Beelzebub, Catalina, Belial down than I would, let's say, Jita, Gran, or Charlotta. All right. If I was to make a Lance matchup chart, right? So we could just keep this in mind so that Percival only goes even with 5 characters. All right. That's a lot. Wins. Slight. Don't know. So we have Lancelot here. Zeta automatically slight advantage. The fact that the RPS around Spear does not favor Zeta like at all, because 660 punishes Spear. 660 punishes Spear. SSBA punishes Spear. My frame data isn't that bad. I can knock her out of Rhapsody H. So
you have 2 hit, right?
Huh?
Yeah, with the 2 hit.
The knee strike.
Yeah.
So like that.
I was saying because you have a 2 hit normal that.
Oh no, I just use 5M. I just use 5M and get the free counter hit. Matera. I'm not talking about this. Shotos, as I said earlier, are all even. I'm missing a Shoto. There you are. 6, I know nothing about. Cagliostro, I know nothing about. Uno feels like Diet Matera, except he has a defensive option. But the use of that defensive option is
it's a really good defensive option, though. To be fair.
Oh no, it is really good, but it's just like the risk reward of that defensive option could possibly get you killed.
Can we play?
Vasaraga, slight advantage. We both bully each other, but I'm slightly the better bully because you lack mobility and a 2-hitting JH that can kind of fuck up your SSBA. Barry. I don't know where I want to put this motherfucker. But
I can tell you where the fairies put that, like, all the way up North Pole.
You think they put it here?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, they're capping hard. They're actually capping hard. So the thing about Lance Ferry is that, like, I want to say it's advantages, right? But I feel like the problem is that Lancelot has too much to remember in the matchup, and Ferry does not.
Character-specific options with all of her defensive options.
Yeah, so like Lance has a lot to remember in this matchup, and the less that you remember is the more that you'll struggle.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ferry's just like, you ever see that meme of like the two players and there's just like one that's just autopiloting?
The old Gen meme
or Fei Long meme. Yeah, the Gen Fei Long. Yeah, so Ferry is Fei Long in this instance. Lancelot is actually Gen, as wild as it sounds, because Lance has to remember certain interactions that'll happen just because of Ferry's existence. Meanwhile, Ferry's just trying to do whatever the fuck she can, just as like simple as it can be.
Or Marvin.
Like, I actually have to like read a notepad of everything that Lance can do versus Ferry before I fight Ferry, because otherwise I end up forgetting that Lance has this very specific option versus Ferry.
Just calling Ferry players autopilot characters, that's so rude.
It's not even that autopilot, it's just that their game plan is a lot easier and they don't have to remember as much. All they have to remember is 5M. Like, just 5M, that's it.
5M, yeah.
But if it's Lance, I have to remember that if they try to use EX Whip, my options change based off of distance. That SSBA punishes Whip on reaction, any Whip on reaction. There's a setup to make her DP Whip no matter what she does. They're like 4 setups to make her DP Whip action. Now that I think about it, how you beat her out of class situations. There's like a whole bunch of bullshit. Like, so if someone said Lance Ferry is even, I'm fine with this. But for the sake of peace, because I know every Ferry is going to lie and say that this matchup is incredibly hard for her, I'm going to put her there.
Mm-hmm.
This matchup is fucking even. This matchup is so toxically even, I went to Percival.
Oh, I thought it was just because she kind of fucked Charlotta, or he kind of fucked Charlotta.
Oh. So the Percival lore is kind of funny. I didn't learn Percival because he fucked up Charlotta. I learned Percival because I still think Percival fucks up Charlotta. Let's not say he used to, but it's not as bad as it was.
Yeah. You didn't need a reason to learn Percival in season 1.
The reason I say Percival, so the reason I ended up learning Percival is because we had no Percivals. That's pretty much it. Like, that's all it boiled down to. We had no Percivals. And I was trying to learn Cerise back then, and I was just like, and then I ran into a Percival in season 1.
I played a really good Percival a lot, and it made me want to kill myself.
Have you ever played Percival Cerise?
No, I don't play Cerise, so I can't speak to that one.
That matchup was
far worse.
That matchup was a hard 7-3. I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? And then I learned Percival because I'm like, why does Percival do everything that I want to do with Cerise but better and have a DP?
Character's toxic though. Like, you even said that character's toxic.
Oh yeah, I used to apologize when I used to play that matchup in season 1. Oh,
you don't have Normaya as a Shoto. Interesting.
I don't know, like, so
half a Shoto.
Yeah, she's like half a Shoto, but I wouldn't consider her like these 5 Shotos.
Yeah, she's never a Hadouken.
And your Hadouken is with punishable by 660.
Yeah.
I think that's the selling point of why I don't consider you a Shoto.
You're not wrong. You're actually not wrong.
It's just like, oh, they fireball.
You don't have a fireball that you have to respect.
Like,
so I can understand that.
Like, I don't know if I would put her a slight advantage or even.
I personally put it even because she has answers to everything he does on Wake Up. So, but that's just personal experience. But I don't know. That's you.
I'm gonna put her at the far right.
Yeah, because when she's in the wrong stance, it's every character. If she's in the wrong stance, she's fucked. If she's stuck in 6-frame jab stance, then I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do in my life.
I mean, you could be stuck in 5-frame jab stance. That 5 frames still don't work.
It still loses because it's still 6 frames at max range. Yeah, you're right. Anyways, go back to Lancelot. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about it.
5.5.
Keep memeing me, motherfuckers. All right, 5.5.
5.5.
He's really good neutral.
He has good neutral.
Better.
He has good neutral, but you know what's the one thing that fucks him over?
Well, no reversal for starters.
That, and he loses act. He has a whole cooldown. He has like one whole move that he can't use.
Are you talking about the rat race?
What's his rat race? No. It's his jump back shot.
Oh.
He
oh
can.
Yeah. He can't use that.
He can not use. No, he can't use it.
Can't use it on a lot of characters too. Yeah.
No, but Lance
good.
Lance gets a jump and punish on that move.
Jump and punish?
Yeah.
Oh, can you like do jump JU punish on the way down?
No, I just do L turbulence on reaction.
Oh, wow, that's funny. That's actually hysterical.
That's like so the way it works is that like because of the angle that L turbulence goes up at, because it's going, how to put this. So if Lance was a straight line, like if you're just taking like his vertical ascension correctly, it's like a 15-degree angle upward. Mm-hmm. So the highest part of his fireball shot will not hit him until I'm already above him, and he's stuck in recovery as he's coming down. And as he's coming down, I'm coming down with him with JH. Completely funny interaction.
So you just react to the up back shot and just kill him.
Yeah, you could even use the easy input and you'd still get your cooldown back.
Damn. Yeah, I know characters with good range can spot dodge OS that option and punish.
Bubs. So
Bubs
I'm gonna
kind of lit.
Why? I'm gonna add this little row here. I'm gonna add Bubs to that row.
That means that you're playing Dragon Ball, like the way he plays the game.
Like I honestly don't think, like I can't put him in either of these things. Like it's
at what point is a slightest advantage not really an advantage though? Because like if you're like cutting hairs like that, does it even matter in the most important times?
I wouldn't even say 5.1. I want to see like 5.3.
I just think it's 5.5. Then I don't think you need this unnecessary column or row.
Like, son, I don't know. Like, I don't.
Like, at what point do you think like, oh, this is my game with this character? Like, that you would like think it's not even.
All right. So the problem is that compared to the rest of these characters, I don't feel Lance. How to put this? Like, if you told me to like pick a row, I'd probably pick this row.
Yeah.
Like, if you actually told me like if you put a gun to my head and said pick one, I'm probably picking this one. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that like there are certain interactions. It's just like, oh fuck. Like, offense is weird because even in like Bubs' mid-screen range, like ideal mid-screen range, you can still find ways to contest him. But it's not like, oh wait, hold on, let me do this real quick. Thank you. Like, it's not like oh, I guaranteed the W. So it's just like, but like if I don't want to put him here, but like if I had to pick one, it'd probably be this.
It's a 5.01 repeating, 4.9 repeating matchup, I guess.
Oh dear. Lil Diva, you go here. Like it's cat and mouse. You're chasing me until I die, and even when you're right, you could still be wrong and die.
Mm-hmm. I like most matchups.
It's just that I have a really good reversal, and unlike other reversals, which give them like a hard knockdown, you actually have to call out my reversal because if you don't call it out correctly, I'm gonna run away again and just send you full screen.
She's particularly great at OSing that reversal too. I can't think of anything she would have.
UL, I think it's 5.5. The only reason I actually like playing Percival in this matchup over UL is
dance.
No damage. It's literally just damage.
Yeah.
Like Percival's damage versus UL makes you rethink life. Lancelot's damage versus UL says, that kind of hurt, but it really wasn't that much of a deterrent for me not to do it again.
Yeah. I mean, that's most of the cast. Lance is a mid-screen exploder, and I can think of 2 characters I could do that to you.
Like, If UL does FAR 5M and doesn't cancel it, that's a free 2U.
Yeah. 2U stinger, and then you're like, well, 30% just gone.
Yeah, like, I want to do that again. And if UL tries to, so the RPS is 5M into light thrust, 5M into medium thrust, right? 5M into light thrust jails, 5M into medium thrust does not jail. Yeah. So it's whether I'm going to try to punish 5M or not. But the thing is like if it's 5M and 5M Lance can only do like FAR M into Rekka. That don't hurt.
Yeah.
Percival, on the other hand, does 2U and a stinger, and you're just like, beefy damage. And you're just like, oh, do I really want to risk that again versus Percival? And I'm just sit there and like, I don't know, you tell me. While you just lost 30% and I'm stocking up from full screen.
Yeah. Character's kind of broken.
Luane, I don't know. I want to say this, like, hilariously, I just played a 1st and 7 with Searchlight, and it was like 8-10. It was 10-8 his favor. So I'm inclined to say even.
Yeah.
And then I played him with Percival, and it was like, it could have been 10-6, but I was just laughing at how horrendously bad this match Percival versus Luane was.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, this character really just can't do shit versus Percival.
Well, that's the thing. Like people. I mean, Luane players downplaying, but his neutral's good, and I think Lancelot's biggest weakness is his neutral. As much as he has like fuck neutral buttons, they're not as good anymore. So I can see him giving him trouble. Special EX Awesome Sauce is kind of obnoxious if you're not waiting for it.
EX Awesome Sauce is definitely obnoxious. It's actually the reminder of like, hey, idiot, you can't run block in this game, and I'm just like,
Yeah, where's my FD run at, motherfucker? But I told you, there's a reason breaking is in this game. It's so people can hit confirm. That's literally the only reason why.
Cerise, I want to say is even.
Even? Oh yeah, because his 5U is kind of stupid.
So the thing about his 5U is that it's a risk to both of us.
Yeah.
So it's like, if he doesn't space it right, I get a counter hit confirm. But if he does space it right, he gets the knockdown and a stock, and I'm not trying to deal with 5 stock Cerise at like end game. Trying to like tickle this, trying to like tickle
damage him mid screen. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like trying to tickle this motherfucker. So yeah, this is probably my matchup chart for. So like,
wait, you don't have any disadvantaged matchups.
I do not think this character loses. That's what I've been trying to tell you. Like, I do not like. The only reason I put Percival over Lancelot is because Percival wins a lot more matchups than Lancelot.
Okay.
And the only arguable one is Vasaraga.
Okay, so that being said, if you look at the chart, one character in advantage, everything else is even or slight advantage. So that circles back to how I look at the tier charts in this game. I don't value matchups in this game. They've really watered down strengths and weaknesses a lot in between seasons 1 and 2.
So like the thing is for me is that like, it's weird because you're older than me, but like I grew up on the philosophy that the way we tiered characters is based off of their matchup charts, and the more like winning matchups or better matchups that you had is the stronger the position you had in the tier list, which is why characters like Elena or like even perfect example, season 1 Ryu, right? Ryu did not have that much winning matchups. Ryu did not have a lot of winning matchups. He had like arguably one bad matchup, which was Chun, because Chun.
Street Fighter 5, right? Season 1?
Yeah, Street Fighter 5 season 1.
Okay, I'm sure.
Yeah, Street Fighter 5 Ryu season 1 didn't have that much winning matchups, but he went even across the board with a lot of characters and had only one losing matchup, which was Chun.
Yeah, he was like top 3 or some shit, right?
He was top 2.
Top 2, yeah.
Under Chun. So I'm just like, okay, if we could say Ryu was top 2 with only one losing matchup, how is Lance still not top 5 with no losing matchups?
I can't. Yeah, I know my experience with Street Fighter 5 is like maybe 3 hours, so I can't even like speak to it. How the game plays differently than this one. I think that what's different about this game than Street Fighter 5 is they keep patching the game and they keep making things less and less unique between the characters. Like we're about to have it again on Tuesday. They're patching the game again. Like
I didn't even know about. I didn't even know about.
They just announced it randomly. There's they announced like 3 things. They announced Blitz. They announced a patch next week. They announced another Saigas event, and they announced December announcements. So, there's all that. So yeah, that being considered, like they keep making things more homogenized. So
Agreed.
I'm just like, at what point do we all just not to play the same character? Like honestly, like there's a reason that Diaphone random selected wins tournaments in this game sometimes because everybody is like, as the joke I make is every character in this game is special in the corner, and that's your combo, and everybody plays the same pretty much. So, and there's very few unique characters and like that don't do that.
So you know what's the funny thing? One of the things that I enjoyed about season 1 is that there were certain character specific combos. So Percival, so one of the main reasons that so in this chart here, Zoe used to be advantageous for Percival solely for the fact that Percival got a full screen confirm. Not a full screen confirm. He had a mid screen confirm into SSBA. I mean into SBA.
Yeah.
So he could have done and it worked on Zeta. It worked on Zeta, Zoe, Lawayne, Bubs, and one other character that wasn't Vasaraga. And I can see what he could do is he could do like 5H, EX Fireball, 5B, SSBA. I mean SBA. And it was like, and this was back when like Percival still had EX low into 5M SBA. But this shit did way more damage, and I'm just like, oh, look at that. He has character-specific combos.
Yeah, I had the same thing. She could do mid-screen combos off her EX Fireball before getting nerfed. She could do it to Percival and Beelzebub. She could like link her EX Fireball into like dash combos and shit. They got rid of all of that. I like it. Like season 1 was cursed, but it was also a lot more fun in a lot of ways. They really toned so much down. And they rewrote the meta of the game, so yeah, it's weird. You're playing this game last year as opposed to this year or season 1, season 2. It's not even close to the same game, in my opinion. It's 2 different games. It's so different.
Definitely. Like I know like people have their gripes with season 1, but I kind of wish they brought it back a little.
I wish they pulled back on some of that stuff. Like some characters had to go. Like Percival getting 30% off a -1 low had to go, and Fairy playing single player from full screen had to go. But you didn't have to nerf all neutral in the game. Like some neutral could still exist. Like you could still have 7-frame DPs. It wasn't that bad.
I just want Lance 6xx cooldown back. That's it. That's all. I'm not asking for a lot.
I want a lot of things back. Well, not a lot. 2 or 3 things. I want my 5H to not be roll punishable anymore, for God's sake, and EX slash is not be -7. If you want to make it -6 and close, that's fine. But -7 is that's kind of cursed in my opinion. Yeah. But yeah, Fairy season 1 first. Season 1 Fairy. It makes me laugh, that character. I love that shit. You just died from eating a 2M. Or you get thrown into 50%. What a great game. It's too bad we didn't have offline tournaments for season 1. You would have seen a very, very unique character selection. Also, I thought Normaya was like arguably top 5 in season 1, but that's neither here nor there.
Brian.
Old Lance JU? I mean, when I talk about season 1, I'm not talking about cursed as vanilla season 1.
Where everyone had +2 normals?
Where people had +2 normals, and like Lancelot JU was pretty much an instant teleport with no recovery. Like we don't need to go that far back. We don't need to go that far back.
I think like I call him like after Percival got 2H.
Yeah, give Percival his 2H. And we're fine. But I mean, he still had all his bullshit. People were like, but his 2H is bad. And meanwhile, I'm exploding for 30% mid-screen. It's like, bro, come on, son. I just want to play the game. I want to play neutral by walking. And that person's like, no fucking walking allowed.
Like he was getting too comfortable, fam.
Yeah, look at you holding forward.
You know what's the funniest thing about this game? People running towards Percival is like the highlight of this game for me. I'm like, y'all choosing to run towards this character with a half screen normal, like he can't clip you for 30% and just have you go through this entire process again.
Yeah. I think they just get like triggered when you just build stocks in their face. That might be it.
Oh yeah, I like doing that too. Like
yeah, I was like, he's doing things. How dare you? How dare you empower yourself in front of me like this?
I think that was like the biggest thing that I had to like learn offline. Like I can't do this in front of people's face. People starting to hit me for it. I'm just like, this kind of toxic.
I'll hit you for 400. My little fireball. That'll show you.
Bale, I know that you were like one of the people who were like talking that you don't think Lance is top 4, but like, so like when I try to have like discussions with people, I'm not trying to berate your point or like trying to like, what's the word, like.
You're not trying to argue people out of their opinions.
Yeah. I'm not trying to like beat you down, but I'm like, do you see like my point? I guess.
Yeah, like, we're literally sharing information in different perspectives because we're both looking at the balance of this game from completely different views.
Yeah, your top 4 is like literal oppression. My top 4 is matchups.
Yeah, it's matchup based. I look at like meta based. So we're not gonna have the same tier list because just on that fact alone.
But Bill, do you like see like the point that I'm trying to argue?
Because I definitely understand where you come from. So it's fine.
No, I know. It's just like I saw like this all started because I just happened to peek into that Discord.
Well, is that and then everybody's like, I was saying it too, where Seahawks is better Lance, and then Score stopped playing Lance for Seahawks, and we all just started memeing is that Seahawks is now officially better Lance with a reversal and with better rushdown, and then you were just like no, and then I just kind of kept like memeing.
I didn't even see all that. I literally just saw one person mention my name, and he's just like. Oh, I saw the thing. I saw it on Event Hubs. He did play Lance, but like this all started because I saw some person. I'm not gonna say his name. Mention my name is just like, if you think Lance is top 4, why do I switch to Percival? I'm just like, comfort.
I'm gonna need you to snitch on people. Honestly, I need to know.
You know who it is.
Oh, I know who it is. Okay, you're right. You're right.
I'm like, you know who it is.
You're actually kind of spitting. No, but I know you're talking about that.
When this goes up on YouTube, I'm gonna put it in big red letters. Right, like where is it? Like right around here.
Why Lance is top 4?
I'm gonna put like right here in big red letters so you can see who I'm talking about. I think Bale knows who I'm talking about already too. Don't say who it is, Bale. But yeah.
Right, the chat's not in the video. He can snitch. He can snitch in the chat.
Oh no, the chat is definitely in the video. Do not snitch.
Oh, it is? Wait, I don't see it.
It's on the bottom left. Over there.
Oh, you're right. Wow, man, I'm a terrible snitch.
I did not say it.
Man.
Wait, edit you out? How do you expect what?
Yeah, you put like when you play Final Fantasy 14 when they put the little picture in the bottom left to block chat, just do that shit. And we're good.
That's a thing.
Or Gucci. Yeah, it's considered BM to have the chat exposed when F14 players are streaming.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fun discussion. Like
fun. I like that. That was. It's more fun talking about the game than playing online, honestly.